Hardcore Lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 391. It is theme week. It is, well, for me it's rec week. But it is number 3, the third piece in any given franchise. And what makes this week really special is every review coming down the pike is an original review to BodyBags. These movies have never been reviewed before. And when you look up the lineup of what's coming down, some of these movies, man, I cannot believe for the life of me they've never been reviewed before. But they haven't. So it ought to be a really, really awesome sort of retrospective of just part threes that have come and what these might have done for their franchises. And I guess I kind of picked probably a little bit of a controversial one. Rec 3, Paco Plaza, who is is a contributor director to the first 2 Rec films, goes off on his own, and he takes the director seat himself for this one. And this film is really, I freaking love this movie, man. I'm telling you, I may be in a minority. It definitely takes the convention of found footage and just absolutely tosses it by the wayside, rather for conventional cinematography. And I love the opening because you're given sort of just a reel of wedding, a footage already taken from this wedding. Now this film is taking place right in the same time as the events of Rec 1 and Rec 2, except it is a wedding far off in another area, and unfortunately one of the family relatives, an uncle, is going to bring the infection into the wedding. But in the beginning, we're sort of we're given this really freaking awesome montage of just video footage from the wedding as it is beginning, and right up to the point where the infected uncle is up on a sort of a second story overhanging or landing or whatever, will fall off, and to the shock of everyone in the room, of course, then he'll take a chunk, I think it's his wife, take a chunk out of her. Man, right there from that point, man, it is just absolute pandemonium, man. And it doesn't take long at all before you are with one of our principal characters, Kodo, who is the husband, the new husband, and Clara is his new wife. Unfortunately, as things begin to get nutty, they go separate directions. He'll end up in the kitchen, locked in there momentarily, with Altoon, who is like the wedding cinematographer. He's there to shoot all the footage for the wedding. And he's in there with a few others. Clara and the priest actually end up in the main room where all the recording stuff is and everything. And so she has the ability from that point to reach out via voice over the speakers to Kodo to reassure him that she is okay at a given point. But anyways, I just talk about that for a minute because you get to this point now where they're in the kitchen with Kodo and the others, and of course Altoon is in there and he is the camera guy, and Kodo's like, "What are you filming? What are you filming?" And Altoon's like, "Everyone's got a right to know what's happening." And at that point, man, Kodo comes in, grabs the camera, and of course, as soon as that camera smashes on the ground, found footage is out the window, man. Rec 3, and we're in our really just traditional cinematography from that out. And man, it's like you leave the narrow confines of found footage in the first 2 films, which is brilliantly done, but to an open landscape where the story will unfold over several buildings. It's a country home where they have not just the wedding, but the after wedding stuff is all held at this beautiful summer home, and then it's just a huge property. So it's opportunity to go everywhere, including down underneath the property where there's this tunnel network, which is lends itself to some interesting shots. And so really it just kind of swerves, man. It just goes off into its own territory, which is really freaking awesome. Number one, I think there's 3 things I love about this movie. One, I already mentioned the cinematography. I absolutely love that they just kind of dumped the found footage for the moment. And actually, I think it's just regular cinematography in Rec 4, but I love that component. I love Claire and Kodo's characters, man. Those two are freaking unreal, man. And just as a traditional marriage, those two, man, He's sort of like your shining, your knight in shining armor who purposes himself to do anything and everything in his power to get after her and find her and protect and save his wife. But Clara, man, she's not just gonna be happy just waiting off to the side to get saved, man. She takes things into her own hand, man, and she says it's her day, and she'll eventually get a hold of a chainsaw, man, and that's where she takes this sort of Ash-like character, man, and she just goes freaking bonkers, man, killing anything that comes between her and her husband. And it's really a story of just two who've just been married who are doing everything in their power to get back to one another. And I think how they approach the characters are so old school or traditionally done. I love that component, and I love I just love the old school sort of hammer in a way, I guess. But this notion that anything biblical, we have a demonic component and a biblical component, and anything biblically done holds the demonic, these infected demonic, whatever how we define these creatures that are in the Rec universe. It takes an old school approach, whether it's speaking the word of God or whether it's holding up sanctuary in the chapel or whatever. It's like that old school sort of put up the cross to the vampire, and the vampire just sort of shoots back, because he can't handle the cross, and so it's kind of like a really old school sort of in a way non-conventional approach, in a way of how they just compared to today's movies, and just the the color palette is just such a lush film to look at, and it's just almost every frame is just, it's just beautiful, it's gorgeous, and I get a kick out of it, and it's funny because we were doing a podcast on the Graveyard guys, Glenn, aka BDG Reviews, and Will Cardinal and Don. We were talking the Tombs of the Blind Dead franchise last night, and I feel like this. I feel a lot the same way with Night of the Seagulls, man. I just get a kick out of it. I just absolutely love that movie, even though it has its serious detractors. Rec 3's, man, no different, man. As part of as a part 3 in a franchise, I think it breathes the kind of new life into this thing that it needed. Not that the first 2 films weren't brilliant; they were brilliant. But what are you going to do? Another third piece of the exact same thing? Heck no. They freaking throw it out the window and do something totally different. And I love that Rafi is one of the characters. I absolutely love in this thing, man. I just love all the cast. I just love their whole freaking approach to this movie, man. The cinematographer's been there for all 4 movies, which is pretty cool. He also did that Spanish film Sleep Tight, which is pretty cool. And the editor, I think, has been there for the long haul as well, at least for the first 3 films. So there's a lot of, and with the special effects and makeup department, there's a lot of continuity in this franchise, which makes it fun. And Scream Factory, if you didn't know, has put out a really awesome box set with all 4 films, and which is really, really, really cool. And I'm pretty sure this thing is still up there, still able to be gotten. And I'm so fortunately glad that this came out, because I was getting so close to pulling a trigger on a box set from Spain, and but I didn't have to go region free because Scream Factory came through with an awesome box set, and it really is cool. The cardboard is really heavy duty, and it's just nice, man. And I've never seen the quarantine films. I love my Rec films. I don't need the American equivalent, and I think news just broke that we might get an Americanized Train to Busan, which just drives me insane. I don't know why we have to have an Americanized version of great freaking films. It's mind-boggling to me, but so many of you out there may disagree with me, and that's fine, man. Film is subjective, and when it's done the first time, done right, I don't like to see it redone because it ends up usually being horrible, right? So Rec 3, man, it is part 3 in any given franchise. It is a theme week, man. It is, again, week 391 as we inch closer and closer to that very special week 400, and a little shout out to Will Cardinal, as his uncle was in the hospital last night, and so again, just praying for all the best and that he'll heal up very, very quickly. And unfortunately, Will couldn't be part of the podcast last night. We really did miss him, and so I just want to throw that out there. And also to all those in Texas having to deal with all these winter storms. I kind of know what it's like a little bit. I was in the Army at Fort Hood, Texas, and I at least know what an ice storm is like in Texas. But what they're going through now is pretty insane. So just enjoy the week. Enjoy the films as they fall down each and every single day. And Rec 3, man, check it out if you haven't, or if it's been a while. And if it's just one for whatever reason you just didn't dig. I challenge you to go back and re-look at this thing again, man, just from some of the things that I said, I guess. I don't know. Hope you guys all have a great day, or rest of this day, this being Wednesday, of course, as this video drops, but the rest of the week, too. And hopefully, I pray you guys really enjoy this theme week, and plenty more to come. Plenty more to come. So, with that, always end these things off with, Go Bills.
This is not a dream.